That's mad creepy.
We are here.
People are turning off now.
This time is for the Marvels.
No, it's not.
This time is for the Marvel. Oh!
So,
if you are
unfortunately, Marcus is going to have to leave the podcast.
If you are listening to this, you are hearing the voice of Flo, my hero, a.k.a. Flo, a.k.a. Call Me What You Want, Just Don't Call Me Lazy. And, of course, I am joined by...
Y'all know he wanted to say melodic voice, but he knew Jesus would strike him down for lying. Y'all know who it is. Young Xenoblade, he who shall not be named, he who stands above all else, Metro Meta.
And we are back for... This is another Daily Planet review, but this time...
That's right.
We're dropping it on a Saturday, and it's called Saturday Morning Comics, and let me explain just like my thought process when I did this.
Y'all thought we forgot about this show, didn't you?
So basically of course, like growing up, Saturday mornings was dedicated to cartoons and all things like, you know, you woke up Saturday morning, you saw X-Men Evolution.
Not me, I was asleep.
X-Men Evolution, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Static Shock.
Sleep.
Osmosis Jones. So yeah, we're bringing that feeling back, but instead of talking about cartoons, we're going to be talking about two comics that really caught our eye. We're trying to do this weekly. So this week we're going to be talking about Magnificent Ms. Marvel number 15 and Three Jokers number 1. So we're gonna kick it off with the Magnificent Ms. Marvel number 14. As Ms. Marvel recovers from a traumatic ordeal, she finds herself an unwilling martyr for a movement she hates, and she wants to reclaim her narrative. She'll have to wake up first. So, of course, it's written by Saladin Ahmad, cover artist Edward Petroviv, and the penciler was Min-Kyu Jung. I could have got that wrong. My apologies. So, just first off, give me your first 3 thoughts about this before really get into it. What are your 3 thoughts about this?
I just love Ms. Marvel. She's the only Marvel character I care about. Only Marvel character I care about.
That's 1. You need 2 more.
Art was pretty cool.
Okay.
Still the only Marvel character I care about.
That's 2. You're at 2. You need 1 more.
I want to get into it.
Okay, those are 3 pathetic reasons why
I don't care.
So
this is my favorite hero.
So basically,
nobody cares about your 3 things.
My 3 things were just I really liked how we saw this is a different.
Wait, is this Marvel Unlimited?
No, this came out. This came out last week. It's not.
No,
Marvel.
the website you're on.
No, it's not.
What is this?
It's Marvel.com.
You pay for this?
No, I went to the website.
It's free?
Yeah. Go to Marvel.com. It's free.
Why did I pay for this on Comixology?
No, it's not free. This is the synopsis of it.
Oh.
Could you just not be an idiot?
I thought it had previous and next. I thought it had the whole comic.
No. Okay, my 3 takeaways from this was I like seeing Ms. Marvel. We've slowly seen her question her leadership, and this just amplified it. Number 2, like Morgan said, Jung really did it when it came to the artwork, and Saladin Ahmed is one of my favorite. He's written my favorite Ms. Marvel compared to Kelly Thompson. I believe that was who wrote it at first, but I really liked the way he wrote. Just like every aspect of what she experienced in that. So let's just jump right in. So of course, if you've read Outlaw number 1,
I didn't. Let's talk about that first. I want to talk about that first.
Okay, so basically, Outlaw was the champions.
Hold on, I don't want to explain it first. I want to talk about my experience.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Ms. Marvel's, as I said, only Marvel character I care about, and so I went into this no idea what Outlaw was. I didn't know what Outlaw was. I didn't know what happened. It just had outlaws on it. As far as I was concerned, I read Ms. Marvel number 13, loved it, and then all of a sudden the comics stopped coming. And so going into this, I felt a bit like kind of lost. I was like, why is she hurt? What happened? So for me, it was interesting experiencing this comic because it felt more like I was like a detective piecing together what would have happened or what did happen because I didn't have that background information. And I think that honestly helped me enjoy this more, especially because she was dealing with all these different things. I was like, okay, but what happened? And you're hearing things like Kamala's Law and something bad happened. They're showing screen caps of what's happened. And it was very interesting for me. It was like piecing together just like a puzzle piece. So that's how I felt coming into this comic. What about you?
I read Outlaw just because when it comes to the Marvel comic universe, I like everything to be connected. So of course I follow Champions and I follow Outlaw and them trying to save Kamala's school. And of course I was waiting for this, but with the pandemic happening and things were pushed back. So this was just natural to me. I really did like how they put I really liked how Ahmed put real world aspects to it. If like a tragedy happened in the United States and they needed like a martyr or somebody to basically be a scapegoat, they would use the victim's name and advocate for them, be like, okay, this is the law now, this is the law that's happening, such as with the Breonna Taylor law when it comes to unwanted warrants. So this really was not surprising. One thing that I really did like about this was how we saw people from Kamala's life in her mind and how she thought that they viewed Kamala as a hero. So not necessarily their thought process, but how she thought they viewed her as a hero, as a champion.
So this is interesting because Kamala Khan, the strength of her comic, the strength of her series is very much carried by her side characters. Just her side characters are so strong and well developed in these comics, and they have just as much of an interesting past as Kamala. And seeing them interact with her and seeing how different people viewed her aspect as a hero is very interesting, especially when you think about like just how they deal with Kamala, because as much as her comics make her less of a character, like not less of a, but less like her comics, if you read them, she's guessing on herself all the time. She's not as strong in her mind as other people see her. If you look at her in the greater Marvel universe, she's a leader. She is, I know, I saw that. She's a leader. She is someone who's on top, who's on track to become a top hero. Like, she's leading the champions. And if anyone is going to get their hands on the title of who's next to be the leader of the Avengers, it's probably Kamala Khan. And so I'm thinking, or just reading this comic, it's interesting to see this dichotomy that we don't see in a lot of other heroes, where in other comics you see them being extremely like leadership focused, extremely strong focused, whereas in this comic, or even in Kamala's comic, she's oftentimes probably the one person there who doesn't think she belongs in the hero world, even though she knows more about it than almost anybody else. And just I'm excited to see what they do with this, because they set up so much for her. Like, on one aspect, you have her and Bruno with the last few comics, where they basically set up with the ideal that yes, these two are gonna start understanding each other on a romantic level. They're gonna start exploring those feelings, and then of course you have her parents who are gonna learn about her powers again, because their minds were wiped when they went to like space or something. Right. But now her parents have the shade of the stigma of being a younger hero.
And another thing I found interesting was it wasn't her family that brought her out of her coma. It wasn't Bruno who brought her out of her coma. It was Miles who brought her out of her coma. And he said, yo, we need you. We don't need we need Miss Marvel. We don't just need you. And I found that was very interesting, just because her and Miles have always had a strong bond as friends, but for him to be the one to bring her out of a coma, I found that very intriguing, and the way she just responded to Miles's actions, like, yo, I don't need you, I got this. It really makes me wonder what is next for her. And another thing I like, you have to pull it up when she's facing different parts of herself. From, like, we have her as like a child to her like younger age to her
fake hero to like a real hero.
So
you have the symbiotic one,
her inhuman forms and her pre-Terrigen forms, and it's just like, not only does she have to face herself and her own, is basically her facing her own demons, and her demons explaining to her, hey, like, you're not dead. Death works different for us.
That was something that's interesting.
Death still happens to us. You need to wake up, and if you don't wake up, you're going to die.
It's interesting the way they deal with this, because if you don't know, Ms. Marvel's powers, the way they work is she grows by taking cells from herself from like different time periods. So she's basically time traveling herself. So when they're explaining this to her, they're explaining like, we don't really die. And death is going to be different for you no matter what.
Right.
And I've always liked that about her hero. It's pretty much, again, another reason why I'm excited to see what they do with like Ms. Marvel if they take her in the MCU. Because I have a hero whose literal blood is time traveling. That is just, it's a field day on what they could do with that.
Right.
And so I'm interested to see where they take it with her. But I think for me, one of the reasons why I like Kamala so much is just how important personal connection is for her and her family. And just how important it is for her to be with her family. They make a big emphasis on her culture and how that affects her and her family and her as a superhero. In that, half of the reason why she gets to be who she is and why she's capable of doing what she can do is because of the strong bond she has with the people around her.
Right. And I'm just going to read this page real quick. Abu, I'm in. I can hear your voice. Where are you? We're here, Betha. It's really you. Beta. It's really you. Amidala. I love you guys so much, but if you love us, why are you wearing that? They're pointing to her Ms. Marvel costume. What this is just I tried to form the words a misdirection, a cute excuse a lot, but all that comes out is poison. I spit lies at my parents and it destroys them. I'm almost thankful when the darkness comes again. So even she admits that the reason why she's kind of in that situation is because of her actions in the past and her trying to take accountability and knowing that her being not her lying to her parents is part of the reason why she's in that situation, and how she has to, when she wakes up, she has to deal with that trauma. And not only she has to deal with that trauma, but the people around her have to deal with that trauma.
I think one of my favorite things is probably because the connection between Bruno and Kamala is something that they played with throughout her series, and I've always enjoyed it. And I think one of the most striking, because the art in here is beautiful, and one of the most striking moments in this comic has got to be when they show first them meeting and like playing as friends, and then they just show that like wall of fire with the vision of them like kissing. You're seeing like this is dividing them right now. Like the very thing that probably draws them as close to each other as possible is also driving them apart. And just knowing how important Bruno is for her as a superhero and as a person, it's very interesting going into, especially now, because when you look into like things like what happened during Civil War II and how Bruno ended up in Wakanda, you're starting to see like, oh, now we're having the same problem again, where they're probably going to be on different sides or different viewpoints of the law. And now you're adding into that the romantic feelings that they basically just let run rampant with basically the connection that they don't want to. Like, if you read the past ones, you know that Ms. Marvel doesn't want to share with even her friends that she even did something like that with Bruno. And so I think it's very interesting to have that connection.
Okay, just last thoughts. What would you give this comic book issue 1 out of 5?
1 out of 5?
Yes.
I'd say a 5.
Okay, I would give it a 4.5. But next we are going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about the 3 Jokers.
During our break, I want to do a quick review of Horizon Zero Dawn number 1. I didn't read number 2 yet.
Go for it.
I love Horizon Zero Dawn. It's one of my favorite games. And so they came out with the comic series starring, I don't remember her name. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Takani Khan Padish. Padish, if you guys know who she is, she's very big in the Hunter's Lodge. She is, I believe it's like the Golden Eagle. Her and Aloy are very close friends. I think she's probably the best friend Aloy has in the game, especially if you kill the bandit hunter like I did in my playthrough. And so the number 1 is just her just really looking into new dinosaurs, and I believe this comic series might be setting up for Forbidden West, which is coming out soon. And so just learning more about the different tribes around here and learning more about the Hunter's Lodge, which was probably one of the most, it was one of my, I didn't like it as much because it was full of like time trials, and I don't like time trials. But like her story and the story she had with Aloy was very, very heartwarming. And she was basically the first person outside of the king of the Karja that Aloy, I feel, really connected with. And so I'm excited to see her again in Forbidden West. Hopefully she has like even more of a major part. In the next game, I'm hoping they add more like supporting characters or add them more into the story. It's very exciting, very interesting. So if you guys are interested in Horizon Zero Dawn, I'd say check it out. You don't really need to know the whole story. They explain a lot of it, but super good, super excited for Forbidden West. I got my jacket, by the way. I got my jacket from Instacoin. Shoutouts. So yeah.
And we're back. And we are here for part 2 of the Saturday Morning Comics. And we will be talking about Batman, the 3 Jokers, number 1. We're going to read the synopsis. Ooh, it's a long one. 30 years after Batman, the Killing Joke changed comics forever, 3 Jokers re-examines the myth of who or what the Joker is and what is at heart of his eternal battle with Batman. New York Times best-selling writer Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok, the writers/artist team that waged the Darkseid War in the pages of Justice League, reunite to tell the ultimate story of Batman and the Joker. After years of anticipation, starting in the DC Universe Rebirth number 1, the epic miniseries you've been waiting for is here. Find out why there are 3 Jokers and what that means for the Dark Knight and the Clown Prince of Crime. It is a mystery unlike any Batman has ever faced. So, I'm going to kick it off with spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, that's your fault. I'm not even telling you to go ahead. My man, Jason Todd, the GOAT. Jason Todd, the GOAT. Why is he the GOAT? Jason Todd is the GOAT because he finally killed Joker. Even though Joker coerced him, even though Joker was like, what'd you tell me before you die? I'll be your Robin. Like, he made Jason feel like a cuck. And Jason was like, you know what? I've had enough of you. You have been tormenting me since I came back alive. Now it's time you die. The main reason why I'm here is to kill you. And he shot the Joker that supposedly killed him. One thing I will say is when Jason said, oh, I hope I killed the right one, that leads me to, maybe that wasn't the right one. And also when that girl was like, why'd you shoot him? Why'd you kill him? And he was like, you wanted me to kill him. When's the last time your battle ray missed?
and a batarang was clear across the wall. So clearly, Batgirl had, what was that? I got murder on my mind. You know that song with the dude, he's in jail, but I got
YNW
Melly? Yes. I got murder on my mind.
Don't sing that. We're going to get copyright striked.
So yes, but shout out to Jason Todd. Jason Todd was actually my MVP of this entire issue because the first time we see Jason Todd, he is pretending to be a paramedic to find more information.
That's not the first time we see him.
Yes, it is.
No, he's fighting people in the graveyard.
Oh, okay. The first time we see Jason Todd with the Bat family is him disguising himself as a paramedic and him even fighting Batman and saying, yo, I got this. You a chump. Let me do my thing. And I really enjoyed that. I also liked when Batman first came on the scene and he was talking and the Gotham PD were like, yo, who are you talking to? And then Batgirl just dropped, yeah, no, you right. And he was talking to Batgirl the whole time. Okay, I want to ask you this question since you are a very big Batgirl fan. How did you feel about her role in the story so far?
Can I just say I was not interested in the story?
Oh, okay. So why were you not interested in it?
It was just more. For me, it just felt like more Batman. And I was just like, you know what?
So
I don't care.
As a person, you don't read the comics. You don't watch the movies.
I watched the movies.
How can you have Batman fatigue if you are not a fan of Batman? Like Batgirl is your favorite character. How can you have a Bat family fatigue?
It's the same. Like, I'm just tired of dealing with Batman as a Joker. I really am.
See, so I feel like if you didn't want to deal with Batman and the Joker, you should have been reading his series, which doesn't necessarily deal with Batman and the Joker. But if you've been following Batman literally since 1938 or whenever he started, it's always been a cycle of them always leading back to each other. It's like the end to the game. So it's always going to end up with those two. It's always going to start. It's always going to end with them.
I get that. I don't care.
Okay, so back to my original question. How did you feel about Batgirl's role in this?
She had a non-role in this. Like, she was just there. She was there. That was it. She was there.
I will say one thing. How did you feel about her having those flashbacks when she was in the shower of Joker shooting her?
I mean,
do you think the same way that the Joker that Jason killed played his games with Jason, that Joker's going to play the games with Batgirl?
I mean, almost definitely. That's definitely where it's going. My problem, I guess, with this is that it just doesn't seem as like, for me, when it comes to the Bat family, Batman and the Joker are like the least important or interesting part of the Bat mythos for me. I've always enjoyed like the side characters and what was going on in the rest of Gotham more than them. Their chaos always just seemed like a good background for the greater story that was being told. And so I guess I'm just not as interested in like seeing the chaos. It's like looking at the mist for me. I want to see the punches that are going on in the background. And so Batgirl's my favorite. I did like seeing her there. I would have, honestly, if they were going to go all out for this miniseries, it's a comic book, I would have wanted more people from the Bat mythos.
So I feel like we don't need more people from the Bat mythos just because the Bat family characters who were affected by the Joker the most are in this story. We have Batman, who's the enemy of the Joker. We have Jason, a murder victim of the Joker. We have Batgirl, who was paralyzed by the Joker. So those strong ties are there. One of the interesting things, and you reread this before, right before we recorded, one of the interesting things, how did you feel about the three Jokers hierarchy and how they did answer to a main one?
That seemed weird. I feel like that, for me, that seemed like it took away from the mystique of the Joker.
See,
like the mystique of the Joker is that he's the clown prince of crime. Like,
he doesn't have a plan, but now you're like, oh, there is someone with a plan.
And see, but it comes if you've been reading Batman, he has Bruce Wayne's money. So it's like we're seeing Joker with money now. Like, we're not just seeing the clown prince of crime. We're seeing...
But hasn't Joker always had money? How is he able to afford this stuff?
He never had Bruce Wayne money. He now has Bruce Wayne's money at his disposal now. So now we're seeing the clown prince of crime with basically unlimited funding. And so he's not just trying to poison the water in Gotham. We're seeing him being strategic. And not only is he being strategic, he's like, okay, there's 3 of us. We have to make the best of the situation.
But I want to see chaos.
And I feel like we're gonna get. We saw Jason killed the Joker. Okay, when you talk about chaos, we saw.
But for me,
we saw a Joker shark jump out of the aquarium glass, eat a jester, and we followed that by Jason shooting a Joker. That's not enough chaos for you. Like, what? When it comes to chaos, what are you expecting?
When you're talking Gotham chaos, you're talking everybody in Gotham. Like, that for me is the interesting part of the fight between Batman and the Joker. So, it's not just the personal fight. It's the fact that this personal fight between these 2 people is affecting everybody else in this city.
Okay, see, but I feel like you're suffering from Snyder Vision right now. Wait.
I watched one of those movies.
Be quiet,
you can't tell me it was
you are suffering from Snyder Vision, which is you want the big splash, you want the chaos, you want the splash pages, you want the action pages. But to get to the action pages, you have to build to that. Like, you can't just start on page 1, mad chaos, no build up. That's not how Batman stories typically work. You see them build up to the chaos, which is what they're doing right here, which is what Jeff Johns has been excellent at throughout his career.
But see, it just seemed like, for me, if you're going,
this is also issue number 1. Like, there's issue number 1 of 3, so you know the chaos is coming. They only have 3 issues to get this done.
But for me, if you're gonna start small, I wouldn't start small with, we know there's 3 Jokers.
See, but that's not starting small. That's big.
But for me, that's like that. If that's big, I wouldn't start. That would be like the end finale. Like, oh, there's 3 Jokers. You started with 3 Jokers.
Okay, so let's see here. So you said you wanted chaos. So the issue started with murder. Murder's happening all over the city.
Murder happens in Gotham all the time.
No, but that's chaos. It's like, okay, a murder happened here, a murder happened here, a murder happened here. They all happened at the same time. That's not chaos enough for you? Like, they had the chaos is there.
One murder. Like,
it was 3. It was
3 murders.
3 Jokers, 3 murders in one night. You had an ambulance chase. You had an aquarium scene. A man loses his life to a Joker shark. A Joker gets shot. That's not enough chaos for you? Like, what more did you want out of one issue? Like, I don't know what more did you want. This was, quite frankly, a perfect comic book issue to me.
I think for me, it was just, I didn't engage with it because I don't care. I really don't.
So, when you say you don't, it feels like when you say you don't care about, what do you not care about?
I don't care about the fight between the Joker and the Batman. I really don't.
Okay, but if you take that away, you don't have a Bat family. Like, you cannot have Batgirl, you can't have Red Hood, you can't have Grayson, you can't have Nightwing, you can't have Red Robin, you can't have Damian without Batman and the Joker.
But what I said this before, Batman and the Joker for me always felt like the backdrop to the story being told.
See, but the Batman and the Joker is the story being told. And see,
but I don't care about the story being told. I cared about the other stories.
But here's the thing: you can't take away Batman and have Batgirl.
I'm not saying I'm saying,
but it's not gonna be as strong because if we take away the Batman mythos, you can't just have Batgirl. Her story's not as strong. Nobody's story is gonna be strong if you don't have Joker and the Batman.
I'm not saying take it away. I'm saying I just don't care about it. I'm not saying you take it away. I'm just saying it's not what's interesting for me as a reader when I'm engaging with DC Comics. I enjoy the Batman Joker fight as a greater background for what's going on in the Gotham area universe. But that doesn't mean I want to sit there and actually read what's going on.
Okay.
It's sort of like a natural disaster for me.
Okay, to close it up, what would you give the Three Jokers number 1?
Out of what?
1 out of 5.
4?
Okay, I would give it 5 out of 5. Thank you for listening. Follow us on all socials. Follow us on Twitter at 26NG. Follow us on Instagram at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Follow us on Facebook at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Make sure you're following us on YouTube at 26 and Glencoe Media Network. We're trying to get our subscribers up. Make sure you like.
All right, everybody.
Leave a comment, leave a review.
Y'all know who it is.
Follow
Metro
me on all
Meta
social media
and
platforms
at
at Flow My Hero.
And we'd like to thank you for watching and listening to our content. 26. We'd like to thank you even more if you leave a like, a comment, subscribe. Definitely subscribe. We need that. Subscribe, subscription. Hey, don't forget to share with all your friends and tell us how you feel. And tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that you got it from 26 and Glencoe Media Network. Keep it real.